Make sure you check the description for any links to articles I may post and come to your own conclusions. But something that kind of come across my mind was, will the left try and create hate speech laws moving forward? There's already been, and you see it across, some of the European countries who don't have, in my opinion, as strong of, maybe whatever litigation holds their free speech together, their speech together. But within the Constitution, you can clearly see that, and thank everything that the founding fathers made such a strong, foundation for the country to be built off of, because it's definitely being tested, and you can see its strength. But in the future, I think it's going to be something considerable. The only way, and it's such a strong barrier, is they will have to try and appeal, I guess, the First Amendment, or they're going to try and, I think, chip away at it. And I think it's something that's a big, big concern in what's on a lot of people's minds, and why I think a lot of people are big Second Amendment supporters, is because the Second Amendment protects all of the other amendments. From that, when somebody tries to, if there's ever a type of tyrannical type of move that goes on, it's going to be the Second Amendment that kind of helps you protect it. But the First Amendment is still a very important amendment. And there's a kind of I don't want to say wave. I don't want to use the terms that people have been using. A wave of this kind of hysteria. And I think Trump, and there's a lot of people, even like, it isn't a, liberal people and conservative people are against this far left tyrannical type of, kind of control people are trying to influence on other people. And I think, thank goodness, I think a lot of Americans are freedom loving Americans and like freedom, and just like to be left alone in many situations, or like to come to their own conclusions, come to their own come to their own fortune and destiny. I think that's something that's part of America that people really enjoy, and part of the story. Compulsion is not one of those things. And if we learned anything, it's definitely going to be the path that will be followed, will be the path that has been taken in European countries. It's going to start with, hate speech laws. It's going to try and be, it's going to come from a feelings type perspective. How do we feel? It's like, oh, that's just rude. It's just rude. And, and probably in the situation, it will be just rude, whatever it is. But, that's one of the beautiful things there, you can be rude. You can be, you can say terrible things. Is that good? Do you want people to be saying terrible things? Not really, but you want people to have the right to be able to say those things. And if there's a clamping down on that, that's not good. No, I mean, we're less free if you can clamp down on what people say. Maybe people just shouldn't say certain things, but I don't think you should take away their right. If they want to make the decision to say something that's unappealing to other people, they should have the right to say it. And I think there's going to be other texts. I mean, there's freedom of speech, there's freedom of religion. Maybe that's the avenue. Maybe I think they're going for speech, but the founding documents are pretty strong. I think they'll have a much easier time going after religion. Going after religion on the basis of some type of form of discrimination. That's what's going to be, I think, the next attack. Since I think they're still going after free speech, I think in many instances, but it seems clear that the far left, not liberal. I don't want to say liberal. I don't want to throw them into the mix, but the far left is going to try and do something like, they're trying, you can tell, it's very clear they're trying to bypass, or would love to, if they had the power. If they had the power, that's the beautiful thing. They're not in power, and I think that's what we have to focus on. They're not in power, but keeping them from power, because I think they just kind of want to use the Supreme Court or whoever, so they can just unilaterally make decisions for the American people. And that's what you see when people talk about the electoral college, and it seems fair. It's like one person, one vote. Makes sense, but that really devalues the sovereignty of states as a unit. But I think these far left people who want far left, not liberal, far left policies would just love if they could just wish whatever they wanted into law without any checks or balances. They want to do away with checks and balances. I think they want to do away with free speech in large part and freedom of religion. And I'm sure the rest will come, freedom of association and other stuff. But it seems much more totalitarian in nature. Some of the rhetoric that comes from the far left.